What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to learn how to generate some random codes. As you can see here, there are codes being printed here in an interval of time. If you can take time to look at the changes, there are some update happening in this place. So let's see what's going on, how to make the same thing for you. If we want to do that, we will use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. In addition to that, we're going to use a file here with an extension, the json. So the codes being printed in the random I showed you here are coming from a JSON file. So here is the JSON file, which I will add down below. If you need it, you can also grab this, copy it, and use it if you want to create the same thing. So in addition to this, we have here in one file, we have HTML. Here we have CSS. The CSS is from this style to here to style this one, and we will add the JavaScript here inside those script element tags. So right now here you cannot see the update of those codes because we have already, we need to have the JavaScript to make this kind of update. So is what I'm going to show you, how to generate some random codes using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and getting the data or the codes from a JSON file. The JSON file is, here we go. So to make those codes here, we're going to go step by step, and if you have some trouble doing the same, you can comment down below or ask any questions, and I will add also the content of this as I promised, so you can do the same tutorial and practice with your own self and see how it's going on. So as long as we make it correctly, you will see the automatic codes being updated in this place. So let's get started with the JavaScript right now. First of all, what we have to do is to define a variable so that we will get this space. What we have to do, and also I have to add this thing, because as you can see, when I press, let me go back and show you again. I have those script element tags. If I press enter here, you will see some kind of suggestions, and those suggestions are coming from this GitHub Copilot. It is activated, and it's giving me some kind of suggestions. If I need them, then I can use the tab button to validate, or if I don't need them, I just ignore them. So I'm using also this GitHub Copilot alongside. This is a great and wonderful tool to have with you as a developer, because it will help you save a lot of time. So as I told you, let's start defining a variable here. We can name it whatever we want, but let me say code paragraph or code para. So here we're going to use a camel case way so that things will be a little bit cleaner. And I try to explain also as I'm writing. And as you can see here, we need this API document and the query selector. We also need it, and we will grab this section. The section is coming from this one inside the HTML. So you know this section is also here. So random code is this one, random code. So as I told you, this is suggesting now the right thing to grab. So to confirm this one, I just press tab key button. So now this is okay. I don't need to write it again. That's why it is important to have this one alongside. Yes, and let me now define also another variable. So what variable we can call here, like for the code json. Let's say here code json, and we don't give it a value now, but we will give it later because we need it. And second, we need to come down here, define a function. But before we define the function, we can write that function name here and define it later, give it what we want. So the function will be get code, for example. Get codes or get code, yes, because we need more codes here. And what we're going to do now, we have to grab this JSON file name here so that we get the code. So this is a function name which we will define down below. Yes, now let's grab this as a string. Yes, string value, we can say codes.json. So as inside this function, we will need a callback. So the callback will be another argument. This function which we're going to use here will grab two arguments. So the callback here will be another function which we will call, for example, how to call it, populate, maybe JSON. Let's write that. JSON. So this will be another function which we will define down below. And what we have to do now, we have to define this function, or what next, let's, for example, the interval, for example, for the codes to print here, we need a time interval. And how we can do that, let's define here a variable called, for example, let interval id equals to what? Equals to window interval, a method called window interval. Let's use that method. So we will have the interval, window interval. So we will define the time then inside here. We give this method let's give it another function. Let's say this function, we give it a name here, like show code, for example, show code. And else we have to define a time. As you can see here, we have 5,000. We can reduce it or increase it to 10,000, for example. the time frame. Yes, so this one will be for 10 seconds. If it was 5,000, it will be for 5 seconds. If it is for 1,000, will be 1 second. This one is in milliseconds. That's why we have now 10,000. And for the code to be here, it will take 10 seconds before it updates to another code. So that's why we have this number also. And now we have the name of functions, which we will define down below here. This one, this one, this one, and give them what they are supposed to do. So let's start with this get codes function, for example. As you can see here from the suggestion of this GitHub Copilot, I have already the suggestion. If I like it, I can just press the tab button. Let me check if it works the way I think this will print out. So first we write the name function and so codes. So this one is in a singular format, so this we have to fix it. And second, we need 2 arguments here, because as we call this function here, we have 2 arguments here, and we will populate it with 2 arguments. And inside we have to define something here to get the function. First, let's write the function get codes. Yes, this is a better suggestion now, because it has this URL as the first argument and callback as the second argument, and we can select, and the request will take this value. We will instantiate this XML HTTP request method. So it is instantiated. When we instantiate it, we can use it to get this JSON file. So this is correct. And next, also this request. Now we use this variable defined here to open and get the URL. Yes, also this one is okay. And we have this response type equals to JSON. This is the extension of our file. Yes, then request.send to send it. And what else we will do is to use down below here an event listener, but the event listener will be on read. Maybe what can we do here? Request the onload. We will, for example, say read, and now we have this one already state change with an anonymous function. Inside here, what we have to do is to create an if condition. So let's say if request the ready state equals to 4, for example, and the request status equals to 200, then this callback, this one now method request the response. So we can validate this one because it should make the trick what we are looking for. So if it is not working, we will come back and try to edit it. Yes, but I think it will do the trick, and we still have to define other functions. So right now we can also add here semicolon here and come down and define the other populate JSON what we have here. You can also call this function populate JSON, and it has an argument here, so we can accept it, but we can change this one to response, for example. Give it to response as an argument, then the code JSON equals to response, or we can leave it with this JSON as the same argument from here and here. And next, what we have to do is to define the last function from where here, so code. So we have defined this function, which is here, and this one is defined also populate JSON, which is here, and now we have this one to define. So then we will be good to go, and this should work, or we should check what's going on if it doesn't work. So right now, as you can see here, this GitHub Copilot is already suggesting this function show code. So it already defines this function, and let's see if the calculation here will work. For example, random number, random equals to math.floor. Yes, we need this method, floor method, and math.random to random. Yes, we need the random method too. And what next? We have to define, for example, here a number if the codes dot length. So we can leave this one to here. How about down here, codes.text content equals to code JSON, then index random number dot codes plus what we can add here. For example, we can add something if we want, because we need, let's say where we were, function here. Yeah, let me grab this. So this code is the object from here. Yes, because this one is like an array list of codes. So this is the object which will print out this code, and the author name, we can also add this one. So to add this author name, we need it here. What we can do is to do some kind of concatenation here. We can say, for example, plus let's say this one code.json. Yes, we can also accept this one as it is here, and try to save. When we save this one and we update this one, let's see if it's working. The set interval, I think, is that way. We will fix this. Window.set interval, and opening closing parentheses, so we can save it and see what's going on. Right now, update this one. As you can see here, it's working. Here we go. So the time here, as I told you, we can change it to, let's say, to 1 second, and see how it will update. It will update fast in a second. Yes, here we have opened the file. We can update here and see the same thing is working here. Here we are in a browser. So this is the Chrome browser we are using here. But here we use this integrated preview. This one, show preview, which can help us to see what we're doing here. So if we don't need to use the browser, we can see what's going on right away next to our text editor here. Yes, here how we can really do this kind of thing, but if it is a code, you know, we need to read it. We don't have to go fast. So you can increase the time here, so readers can have time to read it in 10 seconds at least. And if you have some questions and also suggestions, something to do else, drop it down and have fun with code. Bye bye, enjoy.